Hey all, Tom Moran here from Tom's Big Spiders. In this episode, we'll be rehousing and talking about the care for my Thrixopelam species Pura. This is one of the species that I just featured. I think it was my top 9 most obscure or uncommon species I have in my collection. This is also one that I picked up not knowing all that much about and was absolutely delighted when both the male and female molted out sporting some beautiful greens. There just aren't enough tarantulas, green tarantulas out there. So really excited about that. Right now the female is pushing about 5 inches. The male is a gangly 4. So there might be a date in their future. So enough of me talking. Let's get into the actual rehousing and learn a bit about this species. Right, so anybody that's been watching my videos lately just saw this one included in my list of my 9 most obscure species, or the most uncommon ones that I keep. This is Thrixopelam species Pura, or Peruvian species. So I got this one as a sling in 2018. At the time, I kept it in a dram vial, although a 5-ounce deli cup would have worked. They were little teeny tiny guys, but the growth rate on them has actually been pretty good. I've been pleasantly surprised by how quickly they put on size. They ate well overall. They put on decent size with each molt. And as you can see, when I originally was looking at these guys, I was told that they were a dwarf species. Usually dwarf species, you think at least under 3 inches, 2.5 inches or so. This one's easily 4.5 inches now. She's a big girl. And the male, I will flash a picture up. He actually matured a couple months ago, and he's about 4 inches as well. So we want to get her out of this enclosure here because we want to pair them. I really want babies of these guys. They're gorgeous spiders and ones that aren't really that common in the hobby. All right, so originally rehoused them into a 16-ounce container. It was kind of an acrylic cylinder, and both of them quickly outgrew that, so it was probably an extra rehousing I didn't need to do. And then eventually we ended up putting her in this one here that I believe is about 2 quarts. Systema, I think, is the name of it. I will put it in the comment section or in the description. Unfortunately, I was picking them up from Amazon for about $7 each, and I like the size. They stack. They're great for some of my juveniles, and last time I went to get some, they didn't have them anymore. So hopefully those are back in stock because I really like these. But now we are going to be putting her into this over here, which is one of the 12.5 inch by 9 by 9 inch acrylic containers. I will flash up where I get these guys from. And then what we did here is I bought some solvent. We put on the hasp here, some hinges, and made them into nice little acrylic enclosures. Again, my buddy Charles was the one that basically clued me in that these things even existed, and was the one that showed me how he was going ahead and putting these on, and I love it. So thanks, Charles. So we're going to put her in here in a moment. Unfortunately, I realized that she's still eating, and I feel terribly about this. There is a way to rehouse tarantulas, and some people do this where they feed them and kind of preoccupy them with food, and then they move them over. I don't like doing that because a lot of times they'll end up dropping the food, and I feel terribly about it. So let's go ahead and get her into here. Please don't drop your food, girl. There you go. Don't kick, don't kick. Whoop, 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 whoop. Oh gosh, she's probably closer to 5 inches. I don't know if that's coming out. No booty bouncing all around. She is gorgeous. Now we're going to move this out of the way, slide this over. We'll talk about the fixings after I get her in here. Whee! Let's see. Try to get her out this way. I'm hoping she'll hang out for a bit. Go. No, we don't want to eat that. There you go. Oh, no, not in the burrow. Well, actually, that's good. She's calm. So Billy wants to get a little shot of her in there. I'm actually shocked at how big she was. I know I said she was about 4.5. She's probably closer to 5. And it's interesting because I got the male about the same size, and the male's about 4 and gangly. So definitely going to be trying to pair these guys up. Now, I had a couple people when I posted the last video up talk about the fact they look very much like Thrixopelam pruriens. I have a hard time with the R's. The difference, supposedly, from what I've gathered, is if these guys, you notice the red hair on the abdomen there, and I believe the pruriens do not have that, but I definitely see the similarities, and they are both Peruvian species, so it gets you wondering. But until we find out otherwise, this one is the Thrixopelam species Pura. Now, this enclosure here has my normal fixings in it. This is how I've been setting them up lately. We have BioDude substrate, although obviously you can use topsoil, cocoa fiber, peat. You can mix them together. You can do your own combination. I do mix my own substrate sometimes as well. You can add some vermiculite in, whatever pleases you. We also have some leaf litter because I like the way it looks in here. We have some sphagnum moss. I will keep a part of this moist at all times. I should mention, as slings, I did keep them on moist substrate. As juveniles, I also gave them some moist substrate, and I would let it dry out a little bit and then re-moisten it down. And then when they got to be this size, I've been just giving them a water dish and every once in a while moistening down part of the substrate, almost like there was a nice rain shower, and letting it dry out a little bit in between. They've been great eaters for me. This is one of the ones that I was very happily surprised at how well they hunt and eat. Even the male is still eating away, and it's been, I think I said a couple months, it's been like probably 6 months since he molted, and he's still eating quite well, which is great. And again, the size, picked him up 2018 or so. Here we are in 2021, and she's a big beefy girl, so I think that's some pretty good growth rate. Now, as far as them being a beginner species, I don't think they were that particularly difficult to care for, although they're probably a little pricey because they're harder to find. As you can see, my female behaved very well there. Even the male is fairly calm as a male. So I think somebody that has a little bit, you know, with experience as a beginner, has kept a couple species, would probably have no problem with these whatsoever. Temperatures, as always, in the winter, they're in the low to mid 70s or so. In the summer, they get up to the upper 70s to even low 80s. Every once in a while, it hit like 82, but usually right around the 79, 80 mark. And I haven't seen any real change in growth rate when it's cooler or warmer. Feeding schedule, my adults, I feed usually weekly, and I give them a couple crickets or a roach. Again, you can use whatever you want to feed: roaches, crickets, mealworms. All of it works. I have a lot of people asking if one's better than the other. Sometimes you can mix it up. I will sometimes mix it up for variety. And as far as feeding schedule, pick one that works for you. Some people feed weekly, some people feed bi-weekly. I know some people that feed theirs one big meal once a month. It all depends on what works for you, but the spiders don't need to be overfed, so it's not something you need to feed every day. So there we go, Thrixopelam species Pura, gorgeous spiders. Wish me luck in breeding. We will probably let her settle in. I will feed her a little bit more because, again, she just molted, I think, about a month ago, and she's only had a couple meals, and I really want to get her fattened up a little bit to give that male a chance, but fingers crossed we actually get a sack out of this. All right, so again, these guys are stunning. If you find them out there, I would definitely encourage you to pick them up. They could be a good beginner species because mine have actually been fairly easy to care for. And as far as temperament's concerned, they're fairly laid back overall, which makes them a contender for somebody just starting to keep tarantulas. The only problem is they're very difficult to find, and they can be rather pricey when you do find them. Another perk is that they grow very quickly. So for those of you who want to pick up a sling and raise it up and don't feel like waiting many years like many of the beginner species, Aphonopelma, Brachypelma, Grammostola species that can take, 5, 6, 7, 8 years to start looking like actual tarantulas, then this would be a species to check out. So that will do it for this one. As always, if you liked it enough to subscribe, very much appreciated. You can click the little circle right over there. If you'd like to check out more of my videos and see what I'm all about, you can find them over there. If you leave a comment, I will reply. It may take a couple days because I tend to get a decent amount of comments, but just know that if you take the time to comment on one of the videos, I will take the time to reply to you. That'll do it for this one, guys. Stay safe. We'll catch you all next time.